And the time we have is a gift. I want to talk to you today about life. I heard some sad things today, yesterday. It's kind of typical of life, I guess, but sometimes things seem especially sad. But I just want to encourage everybody to know or think about the possibility that we know we're most helpful and our best selves when we're happy and doing the things we love. And this world has a lot of pressure. You just look around, or you look at yourself, and you realize it's for a time that we're here, and to try to make the most of it and make good choices. I think I want to say thank you for anybody giving their time to listen to this, because there's so much we could listen to, and so many distractions, and so many voices clamoring for attention in one way or another, either inside oneself or just out there in the world, and just like what to really value in life, like what's really important. I want to say that the most important thing is to love oneself, like to tune into what love really is, not a narcissistic thing. To try to have awareness of what it is one's doing, to see things clearly. I think that it's actually lack of clarity that causes so much trouble. And that lack of clarity is in the information realm, because the mind is easily distracted, and it has its own role of trying to understand everything. And there's a lot of things that it will never understand. And the sooner we could come to peace with that, the better. Because it's like you could fight and fight to try to understand things, but there's no guarantee one will ever understand exactly. And the words, they all have their own definitions. Everybody kind of means their own thing with the things they say. But you can't deny what people do, or how you feel, around people. That is undeniable. And it goes beyond the words. I want to encourage people to trust in themselves and their own ability to feel, and to spend time with oneself, not doing anything, just being, and somehow address like the first lies that we were told, which is basically that we're not really good enough as we are, and that we need to perform and we need to compete. And those things, in one way or another, have been told to each of us. And society is that way, basically. at least Western society. You know, losing the village connection that had wisdom to love in a way that was inclusive, not just based on who's performing in any particular way. You know, in reality, it's our own mind that is outside of us, actually. It's not just in one's brain. We actually live inside of our mind in a way. But it's not just localized in the physical body. It's got different boundaries. It's, in reality, it's connected with whatever it is one really needs in this life. A lot of people, or we may not experience it the way that we would hope, but there's still possibility in the now moment to loose oneself from the constraints that are self-inflicted, which may be just bad habits of just like talking wrong or listening to the wrong thoughts and associating oneself with those thoughts. We're not our thoughts, man. There's all these energies, and sometimes they come at us and we have these thoughts, but we're not those thoughts, and we learn how to navigate that. Clarity is knowing oneself and seeing things for what they are. We're here for a time. It's really cool if we could all help each other out in whatever way we know how. You do what you can, when you can, in whatever way your spirit or your gut leads you. You know, what you feel inspired to do is probably the right thing to do. It's just like such an ocean of conditioning that I find it difficult to put words to anything, but I'll just share with you, for example, you know, like yesterday, my friend told me that her brother's ex-wife hung herself outside of their house, and they had two little girls, you know, kids, like, I don't remember, young, 5 or 6 years old or so, who went out of the house and saw their mom hanging, dead. And, you know, that's a bit of information, you know, like I didn't like read it on the news, or I just assumed that my friend is telling me the truth, you know. there's no reason why would somebody make that up. But what do I do with that information? You know, like tragedy, right? Total tragedy. Today, my friend Carlos, who lives in Ashland, Oregon, posted something that his brother got shot in St. Louis yesterday, and had called them when they were playing music. Him and his other brothers got this phone call from their brother saying like, hey man, I've been shot. And they were all shocked. And then he passed away yesterday night. So there's just like more information, you know, more tragedy. The world has always had tragedy, you know. There's no denying it. Like, look at history. Like, if you look at the history of war and like the death toll, you could look on Wikipedia, like death toll by numbers or something. Like, and just look at the history of thousands and thousands of tragedies of war and whatnot. Well, we can't fight with these armies, man. Like, they have more guns than we do, right? We gotta pick and choose our battles. Like, they have momentum, you know. There's a lot of momentum, you know. It's like a huge mass of steel, just gears turning, right? And like, it's gonna take a lot for that momentum to actually like slow down and actually eventually stop. You know, for me to think like I'm gonna go up there and like brace myself against a tank, like, nah, like I'm not doing that. Like, I value my life, you know. Like, I am deeply grateful for the people who feel called to martyr themselves. I don't think that I have no judgment on it. I'm not gonna martyr myself if I can help it. But you know, if my heart told me, like if my gut told me, like go in the line of fire, you have no choice. What choice do you have? You know, if there's like a child who's about to like, you go. You can't. You don't think about it. You just do what you know is right in your heart. So I'm grateful for the people who like defend the water quality and like against these corporations who are all evil in one way or another. I don't know what else to call them. There is evil in this world that possesses people, but like really the heart of that evil is one's disconnection from one's own soul, as I see it, anyhow. You know, the people, you know, for whatever reasons, they, you know, get drafted or they sign up for the military or join a gang or, you know, maybe they're looking for family. Maybe they're just angry. Whatever the case, they make choices, you know, like a lot of times they like end up hurting other people that they really don't even know. They think that like for it's maybe some noble cause to go to war or something, but like I would encourage everybody in all the militaries to drop their weapons. If I could speak to all of the people, I would say, don't shoot anybody, you know, don't do it anymore. Eventually, you know, it's the people in the armies that need to stop what they're doing. And so it starts by each person, you know, really hearing what they feel is right to do. And like, I would imagine it would be very rare to actually be a noble warrior in battle. If it's for a really if it's for a righteous cause, people need to do whatever they need to do. But hurting innocent people, that's not going to solve any good for anybody. That just perpetuates violence and tragedy. just a random moment that I felt I wanted to express myself. And wherever you are at and whatever you're going through, I pray for you that you can be at peace with yourself and forgive yourself. And, um, the past is like, it's real, it has consequences. Um, all of our choices and our actions, they affect everything, and there's no escaping that. And at the same time, the past is not here anymore. It's a phenomena that may exist in our minds or our hearts in ways, but today is the gift, It's like what we do now is what's really important. And the more self-love we can have, the better. Um, Respecting oneself and taking care of oneself, and not engaging in things that aren't healthy, and not beating up on oneself harshly if one's made mistakes yesterday or today even. It is what it is, like we learn as we go. um, Nobody said it was going to be easy, but it's also as hard as we make it. And so, yeah, I encourage us all to try to make good choices today, and be lighthearted if possible, as much as possible, which comes from like trusting and letting go, like whatever are too heavy to carry, like surrendering. If one can find a way to trust, which I feel like itself is just a gift and actually a complete miracle, because there's so much that says to people like, oh, you can't trust, you can't, there's nothing. Um, so, however, there is trustworthiness and there is happiness. And it is our natural state of being to actually be happy. I've read that in some East Indian teachings and I pondered it, like, is that true? Like, is happiness actually our natural state of being? Is it true? Depression is an illness. It's a mental illness. And honestly, I, from what I see, like when I really do sit silently and tune into that, I can tell you I have tasted bliss. I have seen it. I don't know how to explain that, but I can see somehow outside of all this mess of life, there is a quality of stillness and it's peace. It's not absence of consciousness. It's pure awareness. And it's eternal. And that's what we are. We appear here now and we go through all this stuff. And it's hard a lot of times. There's no doubt about it. But the best we could do for each other is to be as happy as we can. Somehow we have to take the time to like not be overwhelmed by the news or the wars or the tragedies. it's more of a miracle, man. I'm telling you that one tree exists, one tree, blade of grass. I'm telling you, if you really tune into it, you can see the miracle behind existence. And it is fascinating and awesome and kind of terrifying, maybe, but on the line of it's a temporary beginning and end seeming to the body. But dude, there's a lot beyond this line, man. The line of time, it's a blip in the whole story. Um, Sometimes people they go to psychedelics and they see some vision, but they don't know how to really like bring it home. It's like and the real journey in life is to bring it home. It's not just a fleeting blast off into outer space vision that one then is just ungrounded and unsettled, and then they just like keep trying to do psychedelics or something to try to like I don't know what find it again or something. No, like one time you see something and you don't need the psychedelics, you just tune in right and be quiet enough, you will see everything somehow. Yeah, so it's as I see it, everybody has to make peace with life, whatever they need to do to psychologically be okay and be able to like still smile in this world. For me, this is what I see. It's more of a miracle that existence is than any tragedy and all the tragedies, all of it. Look at a mom. Look at the beauty of life. Granted, not everybody, parents are just children who ended up having kids themselves. They don't know the answers. As a child, we think our parents are supposed to know the answers. Eventually, you grow up and you realize they didn't really know what they were doing, just like we don't necessarily know what we're doing. And like, give your parents some grace, because they went through fucking hell. Like, especially in these older generations, man. They were a lot rougher, honestly. Not to make excuses for anybody's behavior, but like, they didn't know any people only can give you what they have to give. You can't be trying to get love from somebody who doesn't know what love is. That's a big lesson to learn. Like, when you sense somebody being like standoffish energetically, learn to trust yourself. See it for what it is. This person is scared, or they just don't know, any better, or they're just not friend material. Eventually, one realizes stop trying to be friends with people who aren't really friends. Like, and eventually, like, yeah, maybe there's a long season of not having the social interactions one wishes they had, the quality of the depth of spiritual community and stuff. But, or just friendship, just basic kindness, just human interaction, not enough like love, not enough physical touch. Like, it's hard. But we're learning things in the meantime too. Like, even while we don't have maybe the things we want, it's an opportunity too to just like go deeper within oneself, to like find the treasures that are here for us. It's very different having mental knowledge and information that someone else gives you. It's borrowed knowledge. Somebody could be very clever in their knowledge, and be very learned and well read, and be able to tell you what these things are, but it's not the same as actually embodying the truth of understanding. And really, one doesn't need any intermediary for these things. There might be a lot of good information out there, but really nothing compares to just being still with oneself. Because everything is somehow, we are a mirror inside ourself somehow of everything. And our real self is expansive. It's not so constricted. Um, when the mind shrinks, when it's fear and it just all the world seems to be coming inward and it's all depressing, that is not the right vibration. We can see it when it's happening with awareness. We could just like be outside of it, watch ourselves feeling this downward fucking shit show, you know, rolling shit show, you know, getting deeper into fucking hell on earth or in our own soul. But as soon as we somehow get this in breath of like light energy, you know, just this magic like of the sun. I mean, if you can tune into the sun, it's so expansive and opening. It's like a flower opening. It's just fascinatingly awesome. And we are like those flowers, like in our natural state. We open and we relax and we learn to somehow just let go of all the things that are so bad and just let go and wish well for everything. I wish you all peace today in this world. We gotta be strong. We gotta be lighthearted somehow in the midst of all this stuff, and trying to be there for each other in whatever way we can. And I wish you so much love today.